The Nations Part 2. Be still and know that I am Elohim. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. Elohim wants us to know the development of the history of the open conflict between good and evil, between Messiah and Satan. For this reason, he showed the prophets the different stages of the conflict, especially those related to the role of the nations. The main source of this knowledge is found in the book of Daniel, with John in the book of Revelation, being the one who received the most information about the final stage of the conflict. The knowledge of good and evil, knowledge of history, precious metals, fantastic beasts, the knowledge of the end time, the land and the sea, remnant people, knowledge of good and evil. For Elohim knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like Elohim, knowing good and evil. Eve was tempted to become equal with Elohim, acquiring the knowledge of good and evil, and apparently she succeeded. This knowledge had been clearly restricted to them by Elohim. Why did Elohim withhold the knowledge of good and evil from the first couple? If you read Genesis 3, you'll see that this knowledge brought them nothing good. Perhaps the problem wasn't the knowledge itself, but the way it was acquired. Elohim wanted to teach the couple gradually, as children are taught in school, but they learned evil through experience. This mistake was repeated by Israel when they asked for a king. Eventually, Elohim allowed them to be subjected to other nations so they would know what it means to serve him and what it means to serve the nations. Knowledge of history. Precious metals. His image's head was of fine gold, its chest and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of clay. King Nebuchadnezzar was shown the history of the nations through a terrible-looking statue. Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Macedonia, Rome, Rome divided, the Eternal Kingdom. The progressive devaluation of metals announced a progressive decline of humanity. The Industrial Revolution, along with the theories of men like Darwin and Marx, have led us to believe that humanity can improve until it achieves a perfect society without Elohim. What happened to the peace and security hope for at the beginning of the 20th century? The prophecy already warned us, and current events prove it. Humanity is rapidly degenerating, especially morally. If it was right up to this point, we can trust that what is yet to happen will be fulfilled. Fantastic beasts. Daniel said, "In my vision at night I looked, and there before me were the four winds of heaven, turning up the great sea. 4 great beasts, and each different from the others, came up out of the sea." Why repeat the succession of world empires again in another vision? Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Macedonia, pagan Rome, papal Rome. First, to know make clear the certainty of its fulfillment. Second, to show the relationship of Elohim's people to the history of the nations. For this vision was given to a Hebrew prophet, not to a pagan king, as recorded in Daniel 2. These nations would not arise peacefully, but as a result of wars. Israel is not involved in the conflict. It is merely a victim, a territory that would pass from empire to empire without autonomy. How far from the ideal that Elohim had taught for them. In the history of nations, a student of Elohim's word may, may behold the literal fulfillment of divine prophecy. Babylon, shattered and broken at last, passed away because in prosperity its rulers had regarded themselves as independent of Elohim and had ascribed the glory of their kingdom to human achievement. The Medo-Persian realm was visited by the wrath of heaven because in it Elohim's law had been trampled underfoot. The fear of the Lord had found no place in the hearts of the vast majority of the people. Wickedness, blasphemy, and corruption prevailed. The kingdoms that followed were even more base and corrupt, and this sank lower and still lower in the scale of moral worth. the knowledge of the end time, the earth and the sea. I saw a beast rising out of the sea. I saw another beast rising out of the earth. As we saw, the sea represents wars and disorder. Revelation 17:15 expands on this concept by saying that the waters represent nations, multitudes who are not guided by Elohim, but are under the authority of the evil one. From the sea comes the beast that fights against Elohim's people at the end of time. The earth, on the other hand, is depopulated. It is a territory where the faithful church is taken when unconverted multitudes seek to destroy it, a land of freedom, the United States. From the earth arises the lamb-like beast, initially faithful to God, to Elohim, but speaking like the dragon, who will persecute the faithful church during the final conflict on earth. Remnant people. Then I was told, you must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, languages, and kings. Revelation 13 shows us the powers that will attack Elohim's people from land and sea. Revelation 10 shows us Elohim's people preaching the last message on both land and sea. Revelation 10:1, a strong angel, Messiah himself. Revelation 10:2, bring a message to preach on land and sea. The message of the book of Daniel. Revelation 10:3-4, the interpretation is sealed. It was not yet time to know Daniel's interpretation. Revelation 10:5-7, an oath is interposed like that of Daniel 12:7. The message is for the end time. Revelation 10:8-10, the message would be sweet but with bitter results. The preaching of the second coming resulted in a great disappointment. Revelation 10:11, it is necessary to prophesy again. The Adventist Church, emerging from the great disappointment, must preach the last message to the world. The message of Revelation 14, proclaiming that the hour of Elohim's judgment is come, is given in the end time of the end. The angel of Revelation 10 is represented as having 1 foot on the sea and 1 foot on the land, showing that the message will be carried to distant lands. The ocean will be crossed, and the islands of the sea will hear proclamation of the last message of warning to our world. Not one cloud has fallen upon the church that Elohim has not prepared for. Not one opposing force has risen to counterwork the work of Elohim that he has not foreseen. All has taken place as he has predicted through his prophets. He has not left his church forsaken in darkness, but has traced in prophetic declarations what would occur, and through his providence, acting in its appointed place in the world's history, he has brought about that which his Holy Spirit inspired the prophets to foretell. All his purposes will be fulfilled and established.